Do you ever feel like you're working hard but not really getting anywhere? This happens to all of us. In today's fast-paced world, productivity is key. And a lot of the time we don't really know if the things we're doing are actually productive. But it's even harder to know what things are actually killing your productivity in the workspace. These subtle, hidden forces that are at play that are quietly sabotaging your efforts to advance your career. So today we're exposing those 5 productivity killers that are lurking around in your workspace. And by the end of the video, you'll have the tools to be able to reclaim your time and supercharge your productivity. Hola amigos, I'm Diego, a software engineer working in London, and if you're interested in more videos like this, subscribe. Make sure you join the team. Let's get right into it. The way you start your workday is incredibly important. We all know that using our phones and social media can drain your energy, sap your ability to maintain consistent focus. But if you're using your phone and getting on social media before you even start your workday, so perhaps early in the morning you wake up, you check social media, or whilst you're going to work, this can truly have a significant effect on your ability to maintain productivity levels throughout the day. A paper on digital distractions and psychology today states that the brain accounts for only 2% of body mass, yet it's 86 billion neurons, that's a lot of neurons, burn 20% of the daily calories we ingest. And those numbers are for adults. It's even higher for younger people. So if you grew up during the age of social media, your brain has definitely been impacted by this constant energy drain. Because when you use your phone, particularly on social media, you're constantly changing and shifting your attention from one thing to the next in very rapid succession. And the same research goes on to state that the costliest thing we can do in terms of energy expenditure is to shift our focus and maintain attention. And this is a cycle that digital devices force us to repeat endlessly. Not only does using your phone in the morning sap your energy and your ability to focus during the rest of the day, but it also increases your probability of making mistakes. 2013 study from Florida State University found that the probability of making an error increased by 28% after receiving a phone call and by 23% after receiving a text message. But here's the catch: the participants weren't even looking at their phones. It was just the sound of the phone ringing or the text notification that actually made them more prone to errors. So here are the things I would recommend to have a killer morning and preventing your digital devices from stealing your productivity early on in the day. So the first thing would be to not use your phone before starting the workday. Especially don't hop on social media. If you can leave your phone at home whilst you go to the office, even better, but if not, make sure you turn it off, keep it in a locker away from your workspace. I would then recommend to follow the Eat the Frog framework to have a truly productive morning. Eat the Frog means doing the hardest task on your to-do list early in the morning without any distractions. And to achieve a deep work session, be able to complete that task, you need to be completely distraction-free. So turn off as many notifications as you can from your laptop, book a calendar meeting with yourself early in the morning and let your team know that you will be completely unavailable until you finish that task. Set a timer for around 90 minutes and work without any interruptions, and spend the first 5 or 10 minutes of that work session just planning. Plan how you can most effectively and efficiently tackle the task ahead. And to block out all noise distraction, I'm actually going to recommend you buy worker construction earmuffs. So no noise cancelling headphones and blasting music and having that distraction, but actually buying those big earmuffs that construction workers use to block out noise. That's gonna be a real game changer. Hopping on to number 2, skipping breakfast. A lot of people nowadays are skipping breakfast, and this can have a really bad effect on your productivity. If you wake up early, breakfast is simply not optional because your body can't spend that long without having some fuel. And I've also noticed that a lot of people tend to have light lunches. So if you're skipping breakfast and your lunch is a sandwich, a bag of crisps, and some Coke, then you're definitely setting yourself up for failure. This is because your body goes into starvation mode without the fuel it needs to be able to focus or to be productive. And what happens when you go into starvation mode? Your body starts craving high fat, high sugars, and you start snacking within the office, which has happened to me more times than I want to admit. And then your productivity and your motivation and your energy levels go crazy. The insulin spikes and the crashes just wreck your entire day and you feel like you're on a roller coaster. Research has shown that a nutritious breakfast increases but also sustains productivity throughout the workday. A paper from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition states that a nutritious breakfast jumpstarts the brain, enhancing cognitive functions such as concentration and memory by up to 23%. Conversely, missing this meal can lead to a 20% drop in these vital skills. Beyond breakfast, smart snacking throughout the day sustains energy and focus, countering the typical midday productivity lull. Additionally, a study in the International Journal of Gastronomy and Food Science suggests that employees who opt for healthy snacks see a 25% increase in job satisfaction and sustained productivity. So the research is in. Take some time to focus on a nutritious breakfast. But what the hell is a nutritious breakfast? My usual breakfast is usually very high in fat and very high in protein because it gives me energy and doesn't slow me down. I try not to eat many carbohydrates during breakfast because they do tend to slow me down a lot and kind of create those ups and downs, those insulin crashes for me. And well, definitely no sugars at all during breakfast. That's just a terrible way to start your day. So things like eggs, avocado, bacon, even some leafy greens like spinach are wonderful ways to start the day because they're light and nutritious and give you that energy that you need for your body not to enter into that horrible starvation mode, just killing your productivity. Definitely make sure you drink a lot of water. You spend 8 hours sleeping, starved of water and nutrition. Drink water with the same intensity that James Franco did in 127 hours when he finally got rid of the boulder. When he sticks his head into the lake, just copy him. Do exactly that in the morning. The next thing that is killing your productivity is checking your email too often. Your email is somebody else's to-do list, and it can really distract you from actually getting things done, the important things done, the tasks that are truly high leverage and the projects that will set you up for success in your career. A study by McKinsey found that knowledge workers spend upwards of 28% of their day only on email. This is terrible, and the more we can decrease this percentage and the less time we allocate to email, the more productive we can be. So I'm going to blast through a quick 3-step checklist that will allow you to take control of email at work. Number 1 is switch off all email alerts. Number 2 is to open your email only after 12 p.m. and once you've finished your most important task for that day. And number 3 is to check email as little as possible throughout the day, maybe 2 or 3 times maximum, and batch your email tasks. This seems scary at first, but you will adjust to it. Other people will adjust to it within your team. But once you make it clear that spending time on email is counterproductive and you prove that your reduced time on email is actually translating into better output and better performance, people will be incredibly happy with that. The next productivity assassin is going to too many meetings. Meetings can be very helpful for some things, but in today's age, especially when a meeting is as easy as just sending a Google Calendar invite and people hopping on Zoom, we do tend to be overbooked for meetings during the workday. And this is time that we cannot spend on more important things. And the one way to truly stand out at work is by producing consistent quality results, not by attending meetings. And we have to be able to reset that priority and understand that most meetings are actually not necessary and kind of lead the way in changing the culture within your team. So here are some tips to radically reduce your meeting attendance and be able to focus on the really important things. First, aim to reduce your meeting commitments by around 30% initially. If you can get away with more, definitely do that. The next thing I would recommend is inviting the right people only. The less people within a meeting, the more effective and the shorter the meeting can be. Always have a clear agenda with specific objectives for the meeting, and make sure everybody has that agenda and that brief for the meeting before the meeting begins. Also, make sure you add a little bit of time for yourself before the meeting to prep for it, and a little bit of time after the meeting to review it and analyze, at least for the first 2 weeks of this process, how each meeting could have been much more effective and much more efficient. Being able to time your meetings exactly is an incredibly valuable skill. Initially, it's going to be very difficult, but when you hold these post-meeting audits and try to deeply understand how you could have made the meeting shorter and more effective, you will get better at timing your meetings. And just because the default calendar meeting is usually either 30 minutes or 1 hour, you don't have to extend something that could have been a 7-minute meeting to 30 minutes, because that is just your time wasted and everybody else's time wasted. So make sure you follow these steps and try and lead the way within your company to reduce meeting commitments and make them as efficient as possible. Because if you show that you can make them as efficient as possible and you're really focusing on respecting your own time and the time of everybody else in your team, people will look at your efforts and try to emulate them as well. Because none of us wants to have more meetings, but sometimes you have to take the lead within your team to be able to take this vision and change the culture within your team. The last thing that is killing your productivity is not automating recurring tasks, because automating repetitive and recurring tasks frees up your time to be able to focus on the truly important things, the things that will actually advance your career and make you stand out. So review all of the tasks that you need to complete during a regular week and try to understand which of these tasks you can make more efficient and which ones you can completely automate. And I would recommend 3 things to be able to automate these recurring tasks. Use artificial intelligence tools or software. AI is all the rage nowadays, and it is truly useful in terms of automation. So here are a few examples. Otter.ai is a fantastic software that listens in on your meetings and is able to extract valuable information, create meeting summaries, and deliver action items directly from those meetings. Another great software is called Motion, which can connect to your task management, your calendar, and allows you to automate how you are spending your time. So the meetings and tasks within your calendar are automatically rescheduled based on your available time and any new incoming tasks. Truly game changing. Then for the more nerdy among you, there's a software called IFTT, if this, then that, where you can create custom shortcuts and productivity automations for essentially anything you want. You can connect a bunch of apps and build specific pathways and shortcuts that allow you to achieve certain things much faster. So I'll leave the links to all of those apps down below. There are many, many more, but these are ones that I found that are truly, truly helpful. Number two, I would recommend you learn some basic coding, specifically Python. Coding is a bit of a superpower, and given that we all work digitally nowadays, being able to write a simple Python script to automate and standardize the way you do things is very, very helpful. And you can also be that guy in the office that creates a Python script to standardize and automate some process and truly increase the performance of your entire team or your entire company. Because a lot of companies have very outdated ways of doing things, and a simple tweak, a simple change, a little bit of code can really increase the speed at which things are done and just overall team performance. And finally, I would recommend that you read a book called Automating the Boring Stuff with Python. This is a really, really interesting book. It's free online. I'll leave the link down below. There's also an online course that you can follow if you prefer to do that. Focused on being able to create small scripts, small snippets of code that can increase the speed at which you do a lot of things and just automate the hell out of a ton of tasks that are just incredibly boring, monotonous, repetitive, and just terrible. No one likes these tasks. So just to give you a few of the automations that are discussed in the book, you can create scripts for searching text in a file or across multiple files, creating, updating, moving, renaming files, folders, searching the web and downloading online content, so web scraping, updating and formatting data in Excel spreadsheets of any size. This is incredibly useful. Splitting, merging, watermarking, and modifying a ton of things within PDFs, sending reminder email and text notifications automatically based on certain actions that happen or don't happen, and completely filling out online forms without the need of you manually going through the form. These are all game changing, and I would really, really recommend that you read Automating the Boring Stuff with Python. The link is going to be down below. Again, a free book, a great resource. And do tell me below in the comments what other things are killing your productivity at work. I would love to know and get a conversation going down there. And if you like this video, make sure you check this one on the 4 high impact ways to stand out at work. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one, amigos.